In this video, let's go through step by step how to create this liquid glass gradient button in Figma together. And stick around to the end for a bonus tip on how to make it animated. So in Figma, we'll start off by clicking T on our keyboard to get the type tool, and let's type out our word. I'm just going to write button. You can make it whatever font you want, but right now I'm just using Inter. And now with our button selected, we're going to click Shift A to apply auto layout. So now that's wrapped it in a frame. Let's name our layer, so this will be button. And now let's fix up the padding a little bit. We want this to be a pretty big button, so 48 by, let's go about 24. Now so it's easier to see, let's apply a fill. Let's just apply a soft gray for this for now. And we can edit it later. Now with our button selected, let's come down to appearance. I'm going to round our corners. And finally, we're just going to add a border stroke as well. Just a soft gray as well. Zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. Now we have the start of our button. Looks pretty boring, but let's build on it. So now the next step, we're going to add some effects to it. So we're going to add 3 effects. The first one's going to be an inner shadow to give it the beveled sort of look. I've done a whole video on that, so if you want to look more into beveled buttons, check out this video. And really this is just up for personal preference of if you want it more blurred, how intense you want the depth of it to look. So you can just kind of play around until you find what feels right to you. Now our second effect we're going to apply is a drop shadow to add some more depth to it. Same as before, you can make this more or less intense depending on what kind of style you're going for. It's still a soft shadow, but it helps to just add that layers of depth to it. Now the last effect we're going to add is the glass effect. So it's much easier now to add a glass effect because it's native to Figma now. So we're going to add this glass effect. One last thing we're going to do as well is just change our text. It looks very intense right now. So we're just going to bump this down a little bit to be a bit more grey as well. So it blends into it a bit better. We might just change our outline stroke as well. We might move the opacity down to that as well, to about 30%. Okay, we're getting there. We're 2 steps in now. So we've set up our button, we've applied our effects, and now we're going to apply the gradient effect to it as well. So come to the side, we're going to press P on our keyboard for our pen tool. So for this effect, I think it looks best when it's a bit of an organic blob sort of shape. So this is best achieved with the pen tool. So take your pen tool and start drawing a shape. Doesn't need to be perfect. We really want it to be a bit sort of wibbly wobbly to give it that organic sort of feel to it at the moment. Now let's click Shift X on our keyboard and that will flip our stroke into our fill. Now we're going to apply a gradient to it. So come here into fill and click the color. And now let's change it to gradient. Let's make it linear. There's 100 different gradients out there. Just look online for some sort of gradient inspiration. I'm planning on making a much more in-depth video about gradients later on, so stay tuned for that one. But here, let's just start with a really basic gradient. I find a good way to think about gradients is think about what colors are kind of next to each other on the color spectrum, and they'll blend in well. So let's go for one color being pink, and let's add a middle one, which we're going to make a purple. As you can kind of see, we're going down the color wheel here, or the color bar, and that's how they're kind of blending in together. And then the last color, we're going to make it go down again, and we're going to go into the blues. Now we have our gradient. We can mess around with this, like maybe the pink is maybe not right, or maybe you want the purple to be a little bit deeper of a purple. Now with this, select it. So with this selected now, click Command X on your keyboard to cut it out, and select inside your button, and click Command V to paste it inside. Now it looks a bit crazy right now, but we're going to have to click this button up here, so ignore auto layout or position absolute, so we can move it around freely. So move it back up into it, select your button, and come down here and click Clip Content. So now you can't see anything without the button, and it's clipping it. So let's select our vector, let's name it. just easier when we have to stack things, so it's easier to see the names of what we're clicking on. And now with it selected, we want to send it to the back. So we can right click and select send to back, or you can look at the shortcuts here. It's quite good to get used to these shortcuts, the open and close brackets. So now with it in our button, I don't really like the shape of it right now. So double click on it and you'll see these little handles appear. Right now it's not really giving me enough of a warp effect. So click on one of them and you can see how it changes color. And then you can drag things around as you want to make it a bit more interesting. So there's no perfect way of doing this. You can kind of do this however you want. I just like to give it a bit more of a warp, a bit more defined. I think as well we might make our button a little bit bigger. So let's just stretch it out a little bit for this purpose. And now double click back on our gradient and move it back into its position. So you can keep messing around with this until you get something that you're really happy with. This is where I've ended up and I'm fairly happy with here. One thing I'm noticing now is that the color looks a bit flat in here. We can't really see the gradient. This is where you can come in and keep changing things. So I'm going to move this bars in here so it's a bit more prominent. And this pink at the top's getting a little bit lost. So I think I'm going to move this more into a bit more of a red so you can see it a bit easier. And this bottom blue, we're going to make a bit more prominent as well. And this purple, as we've moved it to the top color to red, we might move this so it's a little bit more pink. Now with that, we have a bit more of a defined gradient. We're a bit happier with how that's looking. So really all I was doing in here is just messing around the colors, moving our gradient line here until I was happy with it. Now we have our button set up, we have gradient, and we have our button text. We're going to select our gradient now and apply effect to it. So come down to effects and apply a layer blur. And this is preference as well, but I'm going to look at somewhere about 12. So you can still sort of see the shape of it, but it's giving it a nice soft blur effect into it. So our button's almost there, but we haven't got that cool text effect yet. So to do that, we're going to have to do something a little bit interesting. So currently the way our button's set up is that we have the gradient at the back and we have the button text at the front. So we need to select our button text, click Command C to make a copy, and Command V. Now you can see that we have two button texts. So with this new one selected, click Ignore Auto Layout or Position Absolute up here and make it centered so it's behind our first button text. And now with our Position Absolute, we want to actually send this behind the gradient. So now the button text in the back has Ignore Auto Layout. We want to come to the one at the front as well and do the same thing. So we want to come up here and click Ignore Auto Layout. So now the way that our button is set up is that we have some text at the back, we have the gradient in the middle, and then we have some text at the front. So we have a bit of a sandwich here, the bread being the button text, and then the middle filling being the gradient. We want to select the button text that's at the front, and we want to come down to this little thing that looks like a little water drop, apply blend mode. And this is where stuff gets a bit interesting. So in apply blend mode, you have all these different blend modes that you can apply. And that makes an effect on what's happening to the layer, and it picks up what's happening behind the layer. So as you start going down, you can see if we make it plus darker, it starts changing it from the gray to picking up the colors behind it. And some really interesting things happen. Color burn, you can start to see the purple come through. This is the same as well if you lighten. You get some interesting ones that don't really work like this. Now with our front one selected, if we apply something like color dodge, we start getting this interesting effect of the gradients applying to it. It's a bit hard to see, so we need to select both of our buttons, so hold down Command and select both of our buttons. And we just want to make them a bit darker, so it's a bit more easy to see. But with that, you can kind of see what's happening. You're getting this really interesting effect of the button text is getting affected by the color. Can bring that down even a little bit further. So it's a bit easier to see. And now we have this really cool button effect set up. Now the last thing we want to do, as I've said before, is if we want to make this animated. So select your button, click up here to create component, add a state, add a variant property, and name it state. And we'll name the first one 01. And click this purple plus here to add a variant, and we'll make this 02. Now what we want to do for 02 is select our gradient and pull it across to the other side of our button. You can move it around if you want, you can move it up or down. Really whatever works for you. Now with that set up, we want to select our button, come up to the top to click properties. You'll see this little blue plus, so you can drag a noodle from here to the second button. So now that they're connected, we want to set up an interaction. So select after delay, make it 1 millisecond, and we're going to change to number 2 state. I have this set up from before, so it's already pulling into it, but we want to set it as smart animate. They're easing to linear, and we want to make it quite long. So let's make it 5000 ms. Now select your second button and drag a noodle from the second one back to the first one. And make sure it selects the button, not the shape like that. We want to select the button. And now the same thing, we want to set it as after delay, 1 millisecond, change back to number 1, linear, and we want to make it 500 milliseconds. So now with that, we can see what it looks like. So select your button, make sure you don't drag it out of here or they'll break the component. Every time you use a component, you want to make a copy of it. So you can hold down Option on your keyboard and you can see the little double mouse appear to make a copy. Or you can click Command C to make a copy of your button and Command V. And that will make another version of it. Now drag this onto your frame of your design that you want. But now that we have our button set up, we've put it here, select your frame and come up to this play button up here to present. And now you'll see that really interesting effect that we have set up. So we have that organic gradient moving. And as we zoom in, you can see the cool effect of it changes the text as it actually goes through it as well. So we have this cool gradient effect happening through our text. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed and check out another video here.